Attention gamers. Do you suffer from frequent solo queue losses, the existential dread from queuing up again, the guilt of pausing YouTube videos at weird parts and being convinced the outcome of your ranked games is a coin flip? So did I, until I discovered the power of anti-social hypermobility Teemo, and now I can't even go anywhere without being recognized. So today I am going to walk you through what will be the solution to all your problems. This tech has so much potential that, unlike my other clickbait videos where I feed in 60 games just to get one good enough to show and then proceed to claim as OP, aka League of Legends YouTubing 101, this is actually something I'm hesitant to show because I don't want its pick or ban rate going up. But don't listen to my hardstuck gold soapbox. The creator of this strategy is actually the rank 1 player on EU Nordic, which granted is like Plat 2 on NA. Stay mad you Germans, but anyways, it all revolves around these few lies that Riot feeds us and we still buy like they are going out of stock. 1. League of Legends is a team game. Foo that lame ass shit. This is a selfish strategy that wins games. 2. KDA matters. I think this famous Belgium waffle can attest to this not being the case. 3. Teemo's mushrooms are meant to be walked over by enemy players and not minions. And finally, 4. Teemo's W is a useless ability, as even YouTubers who I respect have fallen for this propaganda. Erase those from your brain and then follow these tips in either the mid or the top lane. Here are the runes. The golden Nikes, because movement speed is at the center of this strategy, and then absorb life. Clever name on that one, Riot, by the way, but this will keep you healthy from your minion genocides. And finally, alacrity, because we want to increase the frequency of hawk tois on specifically high health enemy champions as a defense mechanism so that they leave us alone. The red side is less important, but tasting blood is a cool kink if you want to remain the ultimate hunter. The build order looks like this, with rushing tier 2 speed Nikes being a priority, and I will get into why as we walk through these games. The first one starts with me laning against a Tobias Fate fanboy. I start to give a little Thai spice level 7 on my auto attacks, and then the second I hit 2 I immediately combo Captain Jack Sparrow every time he even looks at a midget. This pattern continues where you can see his frustration rising while his health is dropping until the tilted swashbuckler walks up thinking you'll just let him slash a caster hoodlum, and that's where you hit him with the fire and spice of a strong-willed Latino woman, which kills him off. At this point Amber Heard should be taking notes, because all she had to do was wait for him to try and last hit, and she easily would have succeeded in her battles with Johnny Depp, and eventually you'll catch that drunk eyeing up the last barrel of rum, and that's where you make your move. Now, not all games will be against a Gangplank doing his best beginner bot impersonation, but all games you want to buy the speed Nikes before anything else. This is because you will be taking your freckled fungus Frank's red hot saliva all over the rift, assisting your Harley Davidson riding diabetic of a top laner in making sure Lord Farquaad's older taller brother doesn't get to a dangerous level of dunking because the spice level of your spit is too much to handle. Then you use the Usain Bolt autographed shoes to get back mid before it's shoved in, and here's where you use your shrooms to help clear the waves, which is a stark contrast to how I've typically played this mole rat. By doing this you'll keep him more shoved than the loser of a shoving contest, and you will enjoy the amenities of micro puking all over his statue while your teammates find a way to have a problem with your gameplay. This funds more items, and having the movement speed from Keemstar kicks means you can forget to use your W and still outchase him out of lane. And when that rank 1 Gangplank thinks he'll be able to stand up to you with 70% of his health, you inform him that with the help of a matchstick and more aids in your drool than ever, and he will learn that this is your lane and he is just lucky to live in it. If their jungler comes in to try and salvage the shit fest, you'll be lucky if he is too blind to realize how fed you are, and you can chunk him down as well. But because you are using shrooms to clear the wave while having swiftness boots and your W to get to other lanes, you are now a hypermobile little toxic twat waffle that can kill any plant of any species. Then during the escape route, if you play at a superior skill level, you'll flash to body block the Q their leash shot 3 seconds earlier, but it's okay because right clicking is all you need to finish the deal. That said, admittedly I swayed from the strategy by chasing kills, as you should be using your roam potential with mushrooms to proxy or push every single wave with ease. It may steal some gold from your team, but without their normal chores to do they will be forced to focus on objectives like taking towers. Then all the roaming around and slurping up waves with your mushrooms will have you 2 levels above your lane opponent, and so you'll enjoy the amenities that come from a mid-lane Grand Canyon. And when it comes to homicide, if at first you don't succeed, mushroom nuke some midgets and wait for some curvy blind support to fall right into your lap. Then to show a bit more under the hood, this gets easier as the lanes push further, as you can get in between them even faster, using your shrooms to clear them while you are constantly moving and staying busy. Here you see I slipped up by taking a break from my antisocial wave pushing tactics to fight because I'm silver and can't resist turning this MOBA into team deathmatch from time to time, and you see I pay the price for my mistake. In reality, anytime I see Dunkmaster douche canoe I should just pop a poison plant down and then leave, acting like you have better stuff to do, hoping he gets an urgent sense of FOMO. Eventually you applying pressure to all 3 lanes will allow your team to secure objectives like Baron, which will make this even easier. Occasionally in the midst of my PvE travels I do take some small breaks to bully the weak kids that I run into, but I'm like a crack cocaine addict when it comes to mindless fighting, and this almost always ends in me choosing to fight instead of sticking to the strategy, and the outcome is the same every time I sway. And so after avoiding conflict but keeping the eye on the prize, knowing that the enemy can't push objectives without waves, this eventually overwhelms the enemy until they flat out give up. But I know a bunch of you saying that was the most dexterously challenged gangplank you've ever seen, so it was a bad example of carrying a team that would have won anyways. So with that, here is game 2 featuring an AP opponent, but more importantly a Yone Yasuo bot lane duo, and you know exactly what this means. I continue the trend of welcoming any early trade, knowing that I can just hawk twa spit on that thing and rely on Akali saying that meme is so overused that it sickens her, and she offers to leave me alone in lane. That said, she comes back and I show that it's not always smooth sailing laning against a pirate who was suspiciously bad at using a computer, so there's no authoritative stomp in this one, but my pressure is leading to a CS lead, while you can see that my windshitter bot lane is about as useful as Anne Frank's drum set, not to mention anytime you overpush with no vision there's actually a jungler ready to punish me, so this is immediately a situation where I just spit into the sickle slut's eyes and pray to baby Jesus that my own tower bails me before I meet my maker. And despite getting the kill, this game is much more indicative of your normal experience on the Rift. For example, I went to pay a visit bot and it turns out the Piltover Mall cop is so well nourished from laning against a wind twin duo who are magnetic to dying in dumb ways. You can see she was almost strong enough to surprise pop my cherry. I make sure that my top priority is always shoving the lane with a freckled fuckboy, and only then do I rotate to whatever wet t-shirt contest is being judged, knowing that if my own jungler's nipples get a little chafed I will be there to clean it up and then to continue my terror. Unfortunately their top laner is a raid boss, so I have to use my free time in this case to actually defend, which sucks, but because I have giga speed Nikes this early in the game he knows that he will never outrun me, so he opts into offering a mid-air 69 instead, but I decline, let him punch me a bit and grab his lunch money. I don't want to be fighting because the strategy works better when I refuse to be social, but if I can be a good Samaritan on my way to my next destination I offer to help, knowing the dumb shit will find a way to die anyways. But you guys wanted a real game, right? I head back top looking to keep the wave pushed in with my poison pocket Nagasaki's, but after a few attempts at breaching this bitch ass set I realize my time is better spent elsewhere and I leave and conduct my business bot. Eventually the unbenched Kench proves that he is getting gapped by his lane, but luckily I have the movement speed to be everywhere on the map, and in this case I can perform the custodial cleanup to keep my base from being breached. I didn't want to be anywhere near that set, so I just had shrooms up there to stop the wave while I headed mid because their Caitlyn has screwed more people than P. Diddy, so I opted to break my rule and team fight just this once to make sure that Snowball melted a bit, but then it was straight back to the game plan of being an autistic introvert and staying away from everyone else. When people did rotate to stop my busybody terror I would take a small pause to rub my sweaty gooch all over a dead Karthus corpse. At this point all I want to do is have some alone time, but the ruined simp is glued to my hip, and one bunny dropping shrooms to proxy waves is one thing, but two of us sitting in lane is enough to attract some swingers. And while I initially want nothing to do with making small talk, my toxic trait is the inability to not fight in this game, so I spit a bit till these two are dead as shit. I then get back to being all by myself top alone, but of course Dashing Darla wants to show me firsthand what people mean when they say League of Legends has insane mobility creep, and I'm just like, how about the simplicity of my HIV positive saliva instead, bitch combo. Then this set is a giga Chad having eaten more than his daily recommended value of protein from catfish, so I just make sure the wave stays shoved and then I do a quick Keemstar sprint through the woods. I'm fast as fuck boy to unite with the boys mid to kill the blonde elephant rider. Keep in mind this was the game with the Win twins who are like 2 and 20 at this point plus a feeding top, yet we had enough pressure from me just bouncing between lanes all game that we now have 2 inhibs on them, and any Tom Dick or a collie who tries to stop me just gets run down and gunned down by a bunny. At this point the game was pretty much all but won, so like a cruel predator in the while in front of Azanya's target I played with my prey. Kidding, we won the game. Stay tuned as I hone this strategy in ranked games and hit rank 1 challenger with it, and brush your teeth tonight. Rav out.